Hi there to everyone. I hope you are doing well. The reason why I'm making this video is because I have a question, I have a big dilemma, and I hope somebody there in the internet can help me. My dilemma is okay. I already speak, as you can see in my board. I already speak Spanish as my first language. I speak English as my second language. I still have a lot to improve in my English level and my pronunciation, but I think I can say that I already speak English as a second language. Um, my question is, I don't know. I want to study a third language besides Spanish and English. I want to study a third language, and I don't know which language to choose. So I hope I will expose my situation, why I want to speak a third language, and then I hope somebody will be able to help me to choose one of these three options. So these are the three languages. So these are the three languages that I would like to speak. I would like to speak Portuguese, French, and Japanese. Um, and I have to pick only one. And I feel that this this election is going to be for the rest of my life. If I choose French, I will have to forget about Portuguese and Japanese forever. And the reason why I think I can pick only one is because I am not an easy learner. I have spent lots of my time into learning English, and I have put a lot of my effort into improving my English. And even though my English is not really good, so I think I feel it doesn't make sense if I study many different languages, but I never get a proficient level in any of those languages. And of course, as anybody, I know my time in this world is limited. I am already in my first 30s, and I don't know how long I am going to live. So what I feel is that I have to choose only one, and if I choose French, I will have to forget about Portuguese or Japanese for the rest of my life, because I don't want to spend all my time only learning languages, because I have other goals, I have other things to do with my life. And I think three languages, I mean my first language and English and a third language, I think three languages to speak is enough, and it would be very hard for me to speak more than three languages. So that this is my dilemma. I have to choose only one of these three languages, but I don't know which one. So I will tell you which reasons I have to choose each of those languages, and which reasons I have for not to choose those languages. Then I hope somebody of you will give me a comment in this video and help me to make this one-time life decision that is very important for me. Why should I speak Portuguese? The first reason that I can think is because job opportunities. In my country there are call centers, and if I know that if I speak Portuguese, I would get a job there in call centers in my country. Of course, there is an important element, the language culture. There are many countries in the world that speak Portuguese. I don't know, Brazil, Mozambique, Portugal. Um, I know that there are many people in this country, and if I when somebody speaks a language, there is always that idea or that opportunity that you can someday travel to the country in which people speak that language. So if I learn to speak Portuguese, I know that I will have the opportunity, or it will be easier for me to travel to a country in which people speak Portuguese, such as Brazil. So that's a reason for studying Portuguese. And another reason for studying Portuguese is that it would be easy for me. It would be easy. It would be easier than other languages because my first language is Spanish, and as a Spanish speaker, almost 50% of words in Portuguese are transparent for me. I can understand general ideas and many words in Portuguese, even though I have never studied Portuguese. I can do that because, as I guess you know, Spanish and Spanish and Portuguese are very close languages. They are very related. Okay, and why not to study Portuguese? Mm, it's true that if I speak Portuguese, I would get a job, but only speak Portuguese, it's not enough. I would need more. I would need to know about Cisco, or I would need to know about finances and money and all that stuff. And I don't have any quality. I have not studied anything about it. Um, I don't feel especially attracted to any of the countries in which Portuguese is the first language. I know I have a lot of ignorance about Brazil and Portugal and Mozambique, but I don't feel especially attracted to any of those cultures. Um, I don't consume, I don't listen to music in Portuguese. I don't like any kind of video game or anything that it's done in Portuguese. So that's a reason for not to study Portuguese. One more reason for not to study Portuguese is that, in fact, it's not that easy for me because there are many words in Spanish that are very similar to Portuguese, but there are a lot of words that are different. Um, when you are studying a language that is very close to the language, to your first language, it may be very confusing because sometimes you say a word as you say it in your natural tongue, and it will be okay in Portuguese, but sometimes words are very different, and it could cause a misunderstanding, and that may be very difficult because there are many false cognados. A false cognado is a word that you think it sounds similar to your native language, but the meaning is completely different. So in fact, it doesn't make it easier. In fact, it makes it more difficult for me to study a language like Portuguese. Let's continue now with French. Why should I learn French, or why should I not spend my time into learning French? The first reason why I should learn French is because there are many people in this world who speak French. French is one of the 10 most spoken languages in the world. I know Canada, Quebec, uh, the Caribbean countries, the Guyana, the French Guyana, and of course French. And many African countries speak French as well as a second language or as a lingua franca. So if I speak French, I know that there is a whole world of countries and cultures of people who speak French. Maybe it will be an opportunity that one day I would travel to one of those countries, or maybe I would have the opportunity to speak with one of one of those people who speak French as a native language. So that's a big reason for studying French. And the other reason for studying French is job opportunities. It's always a big reason to study a language because money. The word is basically everything you want to do is you need money. Okay, so in my country there are many opportunities. There are many job opportunities for people who speak English, and then there is a lot of opportunities for people who speak French. There are much more opportunities for people who speak English, but because of that, many people speak English, and not many people speak French in my country. I read a newspaper article. It said that my country was losing many job opportunities because we don't have enough enough French speakers. So I know that if I speak French, it will be there are many call centers and companies that require people who speak French. So I know that it would be great if I speak French. Okay, why not? Why not to study French? The first reason is that I don't really like French. Somehow I don't like the way it sounds. It makes it very difficult for me to pronounce it. When I was in elementary school, I studied French for 3 years and I really hated it. French was a problem for me for 3 years and I really hate to be in French classes. Um, it makes it very hard for me because I don't like it. Okay, I know this time will be different because when I was in elementary school I was 14 and 15. I wasn't really interested in French. This time it will be very different because as an adult I am already disciplined to put my effort into to do what I want to do. So I know this time will be different. Even though I don't feel especially attracted to any country that speaks French, as the same way as Portuguese, I know that there are many special people in those countries and there are many cultures that I don't know that speak French that I would like if I have the opportunity to know. But I am not very optimistic with my future, with my economical future, so I don't think that I will have the opportunity soon to travel to another country like French, Quebec, or Africa. So I think French is not for me because if I don't really like French and if there is no if I don't have any special interest to any country that speak French as a native language, if French is that hard for me, the only reason that I will have to study French is for a job opportunity. By, but I know that if you study language only for job opportunities, it will be very stressful. Um, it will not make anybody happy because study a language, speak a language is something that requires you to put a lot of effort. Um, Money is good, of course, but only for getting a job, it's a terrible idea to study a language only for getting a job. Okay, now let's see why should I learn Japanese and why should I not learn Japanese. The first reason for learning Japanese is because I like Japanese culture. I like Japanese music and anime. So I have a special cultural interest through Japanese, and I cannot say the same to French or Portuguese. And I think that's a very special reason for learning a language. And another important reason for learning Japanese is that Japanese is not hard to speak. As a Spanish speaker, all the syllables that they use to speak in Japanese are transparent to my native language, Spanish. So there is no any hard to pronounce sound and hard to hear, to distinguish with my ear sound in Japanese. And I cannot say that with French or Portuguese. Now let's see why it's not a good idea for me to learn Japanese. The first one is because if I put my effort and my time into learning Japanese, I know that I would not take advantage of that into the job market because in this country I live in a Spanish-speaking country. Opportunities, job opportunities for people who speak Japanese are almost non-existent. So if I study Japanese, it would be like a hobby because I wouldn't take any professional advantage of Japanese. And another reason not to learn Japanese is because it's very hard to write. It has three different writing systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Um, Especially kanji, it's very hard to learn. Uh, Japanese is not like French or Portuguese. It's not a Roman language. It's not related at all with Spanish or English, the languages that I already know. So Japanese would be harder, it would be much harder for me to learn than Portuguese or French, and I will take any advantage of that in a job. But I have a cultural interest on that, so I have to balance to take a decision. So how can I solve this problem? How can I solve this dilemma and pick one of these three languages? Should I pick Portuguese only because it's the language that will take me much effort to learn because Portuguese is related to my native language Spanish? Or should I learn French even when I had a bad experience in high school with French? I know that if I am open-minded, I will discover that French is a great language. If I speak French well, I would have a great job right now. Or should I learn Japanese only because I like anime and Japanese music? Which one should I choose? So if you have any idea about how to solve this dilemma, please let me know in the comments of this video, because I am very interested to have any guidance, any idea about how can I choose one of these three languages and live with that decision forever. Goodbye.